Howdy folks, Ed here. Welcome back to Bullnose Garage. I'm out here with the donor. So this is it. This is the beginning of starting to take this thing apart so I can get the block out of here and go take it to a machine shop. So hopefully I can get everything taken apart and we can go from there. I don't know what all this stuff is. So I'm just going to start working through it and I will identify it as I pull it off. And if you want to stick around for that and kind of see what all this different stuff is and see how to strip things down to get down to the bare block, then stick around. This video will probably take a long time. I mean, obviously, you're seeing the end result here, so, but this may take me a couple of months to get through all this. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to find out. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Hello.
Howdy, folks. Future commentary Ed here with you today.
Double dose.
I'll be your guide and host of this whole video.
Cruise control module out.
So here we are, day one. First thing off is the cruise control module and the throttle cable and then some bracketry and stuff up there. Day one was pretty much just me going around, getting my bearings, trying to figure out what I was going to take off that day. I don't think it matters. Oh, here we go. All right. I think this cable's probably going to be garbage. Yeah, there I am taking off the throttle cable bracket. Lots of bits and bobs on an engine that you got to get through to get down to the meat. So that's kind of what I'm working on, just take off the little bits and pieces. It's amazing to me, a lot of this stuff doesn't have part numbers, and I don't really know much about the parts on a truck of this generation, so I don't know if it's worth anything or not. Oh, I remember this. So where's my thumb? Yeah, I was trying to take one of those stupid hose clamps off and a pair of pliers, and that hurt. And so this brake fluid reservoir here is pretty roached. It has sat out in the New Mexico sun for about 3 years, and the plastic just would disintegrate if you even touched it. So the only way I could drain it was to try to dump it out into a glass jar. And I got all kinds of plastic bits and pieces that came out with it, and because it was disintegrated, there was no way to get it off the I only got some. Got more in my shoes. The rest of the assembly and well, yes, good old penetrating oil. If you're doing something like this, especially an engine that's been sitting around for a long time, going around in the beginning and hitting stuff that you think might be a problem with penetrating oil is a good idea, because then it gives it some time to soak in there and it'll make it easier to take things off later. Clean things up here. Yeah, so here I am just going around taking the spark plug cables off. Wires, sorry, not cables. But yeah, again, there's just a lot of stuff kind of in the way. And I'm not going to reuse these. It doesn't matter what order they're in for the build that I'm doing. So I can just yank them right off of there and it doesn't hurt anything. I'm not going to try to resell them. I'm not the kind of thing somebody would buy on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. They're not real expensive, and nobody's just going to buy a set of 20-year-old or 30-year-old now spark plug wires. And I don't know what I don't know. So I may be royally screwing things up by doing this. But I'm not going to learn unless I screw up. At the time, I was just thinking they were all marked, like which cylinder they went to. I am so adept at everything. So amazingly amazing. Wait a minute. Yeah, you're getting warts and all with me, guys. That was easy. Oh, man, yeah. I'll be the first to admit that I am not a mechanic. I've said it several times. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to get that one off of there. Yeah, see, that's me trying to take the reservoir off, and those bolts were just these teeth on there. If I can get that off, I can take this whole thing, that included. I can't get that off either. Yeah, you can. You can do it. It was almost off. You can do it. Yeah, you bastard. So yeah, just took the whole thing off and tossed it. Because it's not worth anything either, especially roach like that. You can grab a brand new, pretty much entire assembly from Amazon for less than $100, I think. Ah, yay! All right. What's next? Okay, so that wraps day one. I'm not sure if they drained this fluid or not. Oh, it feels pretty empty. So I started looking at the radiator and then got distracted because there's, you know, more hoses and just junk that I can take off real quick. So that was an easy removal, especially with a knife. What about that solenoid? Yeah, see, I use AI a lot.
The EGR vacuum regulator solenoid can be a bit more valuable, especially if it's in good working condition, since these can fail and are part of the mission system.
You know, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I know a lot of you have, how much AI that I use in my videos in terms of like making images and even some of the video stuff that I've done, music even, that kind of stuff. And yeah, those vacuum lines are toasted. And so I use AI a lot. And one of the things I use it for in regards to this kind of stuff is I can ask it questions about parts that I take off or how to remove things, how to do stuff while I'm even out there. And it'll answer me, you know, right away. And so it's a really great like assistant to have with me. Use it all the time. If you guys are interested in more in how I'm using AI for not only my channel, but for working on this project and just in general in my life, you let me know, because I'd be happy to do a video about that. You know, I don't make any bones or excuses or apologies for using AI. It's a great tool. Oof, that's rough. So here, finally working on the radiator. That thing's been hanging off the front of this truck for chassis forever. You know, when you're doing this, always make sure to drain everything first. I'm actually going to use this radiator for later when I get an engine stand and going to test my engine once it's built. I'll use this radiator for cooling. A little bit. Actually, it was pretty much drained. It's just that little bit that was there on the bottom that hadn't come all the way out. I'm sorry you're seeing so much of my back in this video. I was mostly concerned with trying to figure out what parts were what and what socket and wrench sizes I needed, rather than trying to deal with the camera and play to the camera and actually, you know, make good shots. So that's why I'm here now sitting in this chair.
I'm saying those aren't worth anything.
Lots of parts on this just getting tossed. See, now here you're seeing me take, that's a DPFE sensor, and I know that because I took a picture of it with my phone, and then I sent that to ChatGPT, and there was a part number on there, and it could read the part number and tell me exactly what the part was and what it does. And how much it was worth. I got a whole bin of parts sitting here that I'm going to be putting on Marketplace to help fund my build. Here we are taking off the alternator. That's a 3G alternator, by the way. I just did a video on the upgrade from a 1G to a 3G alternator and a Bullnose. So if you're interested in that, you should go check that video out if you haven't already. That is a great upgrade to do. I highly recommend it. It gives you more power and better accessory usage, like idle and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely a must do. Unfortunately, this alternator wouldn't work for my Bullnose because, I mean, I've already done the swap, so I don't need it, but this is a side mount alternator, and the Bullnose takes a pivot mount alternator. So they're different mounting types, and so you can't use the one off of this this chassis on a Bullnose. But so what's going on?
Amazing if you got part number. Well, you probably don't. Just your unidentified bracket. Unidentified throttle body bracket thing. Scheiße.
No part number. And off with the throttle body.
I'm guessing the gasket's not worth jack.
No. No past head. Gaskets generally.
Oh,
not
that's a
worth
dirty sumbitch.
It is pretty dirty, but you can clean them. I just have to decide if it's worth me cleaning to try to get more money out of it when I sell it, or if I should just sell it dirty and let whoever buys it clean it.
I don't know what that is.
Day 3.
It's a vacuum reservoir or something? I don't know. It is. That's what it is. It's a vacuum something.
Vacuum something. So adept. Anybody know what this hose is? Let me know if you know what that is. I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked all over Google. I took a picture of it and sent it to ChatGPT. Couldn't tell me. I spent like an hour looking for that particular hose and couldn't find one that looked just like it. I think it's like a heater core bypass hose, but I don't know. Ka-ding! Here I'm trying to figure out how to get the smog pump off. Turns out that you have to remove the pulley from the smog pump if you want to get the smog pump itself off of the bracket. At least
Like that,
so.
I guess.
So instead of doing that, I just remove the entire bracket. Smog pump and all. And now I can put it on a bench in my garage and figure it out. without being outside yet by mosquitoes. So I got this thing from somebody on Facebook Marketplace from a town over, which in New Mexico is like an hour away. And he was selling it because he had it for a project that he was doing. I think it was like a hot rod kind of thing. And he decided not to go that direction. That was the reason he was selling it. And it included the engine, all the accessories you see, of course, the wheels and tires, plus the transmission. It's an A4OD, I think. Or maybe it's an I think it's AODE. I'm not sure. I'll look it up. And obviously the gas tanks and the rear differential and all that stuff. And I got it for $500, which is a absolute steal. And he even delivered it on a trailer to my house from one town away, an hour. So yeah. But even with all that great stuff, keep in mind that when you inherit somebody else's project, sometimes you inherit other stuff too. Foreshadowing. But regardless, it's a fantastic deal. It even had the steering wheel and the steering column. And if I remember right, it had the gauge cluster too. Just, God, great deal. Oh, just real quick mention, I took the AC compressor off. It had already been drained. The guy that had it before me had already taken all the refrigerant out. So that's definitely one thing you want to keep an eye on if you're doing something like this, is that the refrigerant system, if it hasn't already been drained, when you take it apart, you have to drain it appropriately, evacuate it, or else that's kind of illegal if you just let it go into the air.
Oh, and then there's that. I'm not sure what size that is.
So many different sizes. Ooh, it's that size. Ooh, it's that size. So excited. Just to get the right size the first time. By eye. Yeah. It's good feeling.
I actually get that in here. Probably not.
Oh, maybe. Maybe, look at that. It's always nice to be pleasantly surprised. Yeah, here we are draining the power steering fluid. So anyway, this guy sold me this thing, and I found out later that I think the frame is bent. And I think that's why he sold it for so cheap. He didn't tell me that. But not that I care, because I'm not using it for the frame anyway. It's just going to go to a salvage yard once I'm done with taking all this stuff off. I decided to cut this line for the power steering fluid because I couldn't get it off. It was way easier just to cut it. But, you know.
Whoops. Okay. Really?
To make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. Oh, this is interesting. So this tube that's looping around here, sort of underneath the engine on the engine mount, that's like a radiator for the power steering. I didn't know that. That's interesting. It's like a poor man's radiator. They just loop the power steering line around a few times, and the airflow helps keep the power steering system cool without using an actual full-blown radiator. I never knew that. So the first thing I did on day 4 was try to get the fan off. And I had actually rented the stupid tool to do this from the auto parts store. Turns out I didn't need it. All I need is a strap wrench and a socket. So I rented the tool for nothing. But at least you get your money back when you bring it back, so it's kind of okay. Just a wasted trip. You know, it's funny, somebody who knows what they're doing could probably have this done in a short afternoon. You know, I've got to walk around and assess everything, figure out what things are, what can I take off, what can't I take off, where the ramifications of taking something off in the wrong order are. You know, not that there's that many, because I'm just going to sit this thing down to the bare block anyway, but you know, there's some stuff that you don't necessarily want to take off first because it opens up big gaping holes into the engine. You don't really want to do that just in case there's weather or something else. You probably want to save that until you get into the garage. So, like the exhaust manifolds, they're still on there. That's why you see all the rags stuffed into holes. Well, yeah, see, the power steering pump was the same way. If you want to take the pump off the bracket, you got to pull the pulley. And so I'll just take the whole thing and take it off the pulley or take it off the bracket later. Hell, maybe I'll sell the entire thing, bracket and all on. I could probably use that power steering pump for my new build, but I think I'm going to go with the Saginaw unit instead. Like a nice chrome one. Oh, yeah, you know, I'm not an engineer. I'm sure there's a really great reason that some Ford engineer decided to one of the bolts in the center, middle, like inside the intake below the riser, like that bolt should be a star bolt. Like, I'm sure there's a good reason for that. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure there's a good reason.
Okay.
Fortunately, like any man card holding member of society, I never throw away a tool. So all I gotta do is just search long enough, and I probably got it somewhere.
Please do the right size. Oh, that. Kind of small. Please be the right size. There we go.
The hell of it is that I had some star bits that didn't work because there's a gap in the riser for you to put the bit through, and it was too narrow, it was too short for me to actually get the bit in there, so I had to go find a different one that was smaller. But I had it, so. And just random bracket removal, taking off bits and pieces.
Oh, he cut all these. He just f***ing cut them all. So these are garbage, because he just cut them. Like, he just cut them. I didn't even realize that he did that, but yeah, whoever had it before me just cut them. Just straight up snip, snip. Snip, snip, motherfucker. No. My guess is that he tried to get it off. Like reasonably, and then probably couldn't. And then so he just decided, nah, f*** it. I'm gonna replace all that shit anyway.
I mean, clearly he wasn't going to reuse that.
This harness is garbage because he cut all those wires, so it's unfortunate. The fuel rails might be worth something, but the harness is garbage. Uh-oh. Ooh, I thought maybe I dropped that into the intake. Doesn't really matter. I'm taking it all apart anyway. But that would just mean I had to take it apart. I wouldn't have any choice anymore. Let's go put garbage in the garbage.
Garbage in the garbage. Yeah, that's unfortunate because when I look online for one of those harnesses, they're, you know, like right around $80 to $100. But I may be looking at the wrong thing, so who knows. And so that's it. 4 days over 3 weeks got me to this point that you see right here. And that's pretty much where it is, sitting out there right now. So, yeah, let's head out there and take a look at it. And I'll kind of walk you through what the next steps are What I'm going to do with that next, how I'm going to get the engine off, and where we're going from here. Okay, so here's how it sits right now. Fuel rails are still on there. I'll probably go ahead and pull the engine with those on. You see I've got my intake holes covered up here. So I got the transmission to get off of there and all that kind of stuff. I've still got to drain the oil and the tranny fluid. I'll do that probably before I move it. Obviously I've got this issue with this tire here is pretty much roached. I'm not sure if I can roll it like that or not. I don't have to go very far. Just out this gate and over to the garage over there. So I got a plan for that. So yeah, like I said before, I'm leaving the exhaust manifolds on here because I just don't want those big open gaping holes out into the environment here. I'll take that stuff off once I pull the engine. I don't quite yet have a plan for how I'm gonna pull the engine in the tranny. I don't have a tranny hoist, but I do have some jacks and you know, a lot of wood. So I think I can figure that out. Backyard mechanic special coming at you. Okay, so that's where we are. Now, what's the plan? Well, I want to tell you that this video right here is going to be the first video in an entire series that's going to cover how to build this 351 Windsor from pulling it out of a chassis all the way to running it on a strip. That's my plan. I want to get that thing out of there, take it apart, check it out, take it to a machine shop, have it machined, bring it back, build it up, drop it in the truck, and run it on a track. And I want to cover every single step of the way with an eye for guys like me who don't really know what they're doing. So I'm going to go solicit some professional help. Hopefully I can partner with a parts place or an engine builder or a machine shop and get some real down-to-earth advice and some good stuff there, and I can transmit that to you guys. You know, but I want to bring you along every single step of the process. So the next thing is going to be me getting that chassis into this garage. How am I going to do that? That thing obviously can't go under its own power and it's heavy as hell. So how am I going to get it up here? There's a slope and an incline out here. Well, I got an idea for that, and I'm going to share exactly how I'm going to do that. Once that's done, I can pull the engine off and I can take it apart, and we can go through it together and look for things that you want to look for when you're pulling an engine apart and doing a rebuild. You know, how's the engine been treated? How can you tell how it's been treated? What sorts of things are there to look out for, right? And then once that's done, we'll get the machine, get the block to a machine shop, talk to the machinist, and you know, figure out what services are available, about how much they'll cost you, what they're for, why you would do that, why you might or might not need it, depending on your build, the whole 9 yards. And then I'm going to go through how it's built, right? I'm going to go through why you choose the components you choose, camshaft, you know, valves, lifters, you know, rotating assembly, all of that stuff, right? All the way through. And, you know, why you would choose the parts you choose, how they've got to work together to create the right kind of engine that you're looking for, whether it's high torque, high horsepower, street, strip, whatever it is. And I'll go through why I'm choosing what I'm choosing. You know, I've got some requirements that a lot of you know, guys may not care about or may not want. Maybe some of you do. And at the end of this, you know, you should be able to just get my parts list and basically replicate my engine from scratch, even if you're not a mechanic. I hope to be that detailed with you guys, especially during the build process. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know. I've bought books, read books. I've watched dozens of YouTube, maybe hundreds of YouTube videos on it. But I still want to get a pro out here to help me out to see if, you know, because I don't know what I don't know. And there's a lot of things when you're building an engine that if you miss something, it can come back to really haunt you later. So I want to make sure to go over all of that stuff and step by step as much as possible so that, you know, we can learn together. And if I succeed, great. If I fail, well, you know, honestly, that's great content for you guys, because then that will help you out in the future so you don't do what I did, right? And so I want to get that thing on a stand, fire it up, run it in here or out there, you know. and then, you know, drop it in the truck and get it hooked up and take it out for a test drive. I want you to be with me for that. And the very last episode of this series, hopefully, will be me taking that truck out on a strip and getting a quarter-mile time. That is the ultimate goal of where I want to be at the end of this video series. Guys, it's going to take a while. But I hope to have a lot of videos here that you could really just sit back and watch, you know, and binge like a Netflix series. And when you're done, you'll know exactly how to take an engine off the chassis and run it through the entire process. So I hope you guys are with me on that. I hope you really want to see that kind of content. If you do, here comes the beg. Like and subscribe, especially for this kind of content. If you want to watch me build this engine, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the stuff, right? I really appreciate that. If you want to support the channel, help me buy really cool engine parts, grab yourself a hat. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.
She's rough around the edges, but she's doing fine. Take her in away, getting things to shine. At Bullnose garage, she's considered divine. Thanks again for watching. We will see you next time. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.